Well, hello and welcome to the Gary Goff Show to get the 2015 fall football season started. Brought to you by WTUD, TU Dragon Radio, and Tiffin University. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, alongside head football coach Gary Goff. Exciting time of the year, sir.
It sure is. It's finally here.
Absolutely. We get started Thursday night. Interesting starting time for the Dragons. Our traditional Saturdays, we're foregoing that to open the season. Thursday night, going to be an exciting atmosphere. Kids will have all day to get primed up and ready for it. Can't wait to get it going. 7 o'clock against Walsh University Thursday night.
Yeah, we're very excited. I think it's been 7 or 8 years since we've had a night game here at Tiffin University, and there's not a lot going on a Thursday night, so we should have a great turnout. It's a chance for the community to come out and see us play. So our players are excited. There's a buzz on campus right now, so it is finally here. It seems like it's been forever, but it's here.
How do you keep the kids' energy and their focus on a night game like that, especially opening day? Always brings a little bit of extra nervous energy to the plate, but then you got all day to think about it. But that 7 o'clock kickoff, what do you do to the kid? Treat it as a normal day. You take your classes and everything, but how do you tell your kids to maintain themselves that day?
Yeah, it's probably more of an issue for the professors on campus than me. I promise you, they'll be thinking about football all day. But yeah, it's going to be a normal routine. They're going to have class in the morning. Then we'll have our pregame meal, around 3 o'clock, and then we'll start, just like we would on a Saturday morning. But, I was fortunate enough to play our coach out in the Western Athletic Conference, and every game out there was a night game because of television. So it is different, but to be honest, it's kind of a little bit easier for the school year when it's a night game during Thursday because, those night games on the weekend you're sitting in the hotel forever, and that's a long day, and that's where, the players start to lose their focus a little.
I'm excited for it. 7 o'clock kickoff at Frost County Stadium as the Dragons welcome in Walsh. We'll talk about Walsh here in a little bit. Let's first recap camp here a little bit. Camp is it's a grind. It's a struggle. The kids got to put in the work. Coaches got to put in the work. Just a little overview of how camp went.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a grind, but nowhere near as bad as it used to be since the NCAA has changed some rules or whatnot. So we were fortunate enough to have 3 two-a-days. We came in a little bit earlier than those 2 days started because of acclimation period or whatnot. But camp was went very well. We were healthy, which is always a great sign when you come out of camp. So we got a lot of depth. We got a lot of new players on the roster as well that we were excited to finally get out on the field and see what they're capable of doing. And we had a lot of great plays made during camp on both sides of the ball. So, if our playmakers will make those plays on Thursday night, we'll be fine. But,
it's yet to be seen.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. My broadcast partner, Matt Kibler, and myself were able to come out and take in a few practices. And, boy, some of the athletes you have on your skill sets in both the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball, I think as good of athletes as anybody else in this conference. And watching those guys out there perform, making some great plays. Some of your receivers stick out. It was Charles Holland. We call him Mega Dragon. Him and Tony Shedd. You got a nice depth there at the wide receiving core. Pedro Correa, Jalen Santoro. We can go on and on and on. And then your defensive secondary has looked pretty fast and pretty mean and pretty quick out there on the field as well. Yeah,
I think our receiving core, has got a chance to be one of the better receiver cores in the conference for sure. We've got a lot of experience there. I think Charles Holland is going to jump off the field and really grab a lot of people's attention. But defensively is where I think we've got a lot of improvement since a year ago. Our defensive line, we're very excited about it. We're excited about the depth there. We're excited about the new players we brought in at that position, and then secondary as well. We've got a solid secondary. We got 2 corners that have played a lot of football, a safety that's played a lot of football. And then we got a transfer coming in at safety too that we're hoping fills the shoes for Brandon Person. On both sides of the ball we have depth, and that's what's exciting about this coming season. I think we learned some tough lessons last year, but we also learned some lessons as far as this is what it takes to win some big-time football games, something we were not able to do in the past. So as long as we can grow on that and keep improving, worry about the Tiffin Dragons, not really who we're playing, because it's more has to do with about Tiffin University and our football program than it does Walsh in week 1. As long as we do that and continue to take those steps, I think we'll be fine. But hey, we haven't played a game yet this year, and everybody this time of the season is very, very excited about their team, their program, and it's hard to simulate game reps. We've had several scrimmages and did a great job in those scrimmages, but we hadn't played a game yet this year. So on paper, everybody looks good on paper this time of year, but we've got to go out there and prove it.
You're here, Coach. If you're a veteran of listening to and viewing the Coach Gary Goff show, he always brings up, even in our pregame talks, it's all about what the Dragons do. It's not about what the opponent's doing. It's all about what the Dragons have to do. But we have to talk about the opponent. We're playing Walsh this weekend. Now, last year, Coach, we went up to Walsh, and an element of surprise They did everything differently on the offensive side of the ball than you had prepared for, and what we had talked about as our broadcast, getting ready for the game. That element of surprise really kind of caught you guys off guard. Expecting more of that this year? You think more of what you saw?
Well, yeah. I mean, you
don't know.
What's the saying? You fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. But without a doubt, and we were kind of prepared for everything. I mean, Walsh is kind of known. This coaching staff is kind of known for changing things, drastically. They're very well coached. Ted Harrison's staff. They won a national championship, NAIA. A very, very good coaching staff, and they're going to come in here and they're going to play really, really hard. We know those things. What we don't know is, are they going to come in here and run the spread offense? They're going to run the wing tee. They're going to be in the wishbone. You never know. But, so, yeah, we have prepared for a little bit of everything, to be honest. And, the element of surprise last year, it did. It hit us in the face, and we did not respond very well to it. So that was a very tough lesson to learn, but, so be it. As long as we are learning from our mistakes, we'll be fine. So, yeah, we don't really know what they're going to do. We do know that they got an experienced quarterback coming back, and he's a playmaker. I mean, he can run. He can throw the ball. The young man came in the game 2 years ago here, and they came from behind and beat us. So, we're expecting him to come in and be a playmaker. He's going to be a senior. They've got some Division I transfers themselves. They got a receiver from Illinois. They got a big offensive line. Their left tackle is 6'8", 360.
Yeah.
So they're a dangerous football team. If you go back and watch them play towards the end of last year, they played really hard.
Oh, man, they only lost by 4 to Ferris State, who at the time was ranked number 4 in the country.
Right.
They went up to Northern Michigan. That's no matter what Northern and Michigan Tech's records are, it's not an easy place to go play
Tough
football.
trip.
And then Walsh be able to pull off a victory up there. So yeah, they got us, had a little string of some bad luck, but then they really started to right the ship towards the end of the year last year.
Without a doubt. So there's a couple things we know for sure about Walsh. Is number one, they're very well coached. Number two, they're going to play hard. And they've probably got an element of surprise somewhere for us,
sure
but so do we. So we'll see.
Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned their defense. Let's talk a bit about their defense matching up against our offense. Our offense, we got our quarterback, Antonio Pipkin, one of the most well-known players around the conference. He's a great playmaker. We got depth at running back led by Jerry Brown, who's returning. This will be his third year, I believe, now, right? He's
Correct.
a junior this year. Seems like he's one of those kids. People would say, has Jerry Brown been running the ball for TU for 20 years by the time he's done? You know what I mean? But let's talk a little bit about how our offense matches up with their defense.
Yeah, offensively, obviously, we got a lot of our playmakers back. Pedro Carrera is the one that we say, gosh, hadn't you been here 8 years? You're mayor
right
of Tiffin right now, aren't you? But no, so Pedro is going to anchor the receiving core right there in the slot position. And then, of course, Tony Shedd, Charles Holland stepping in where Marcus Buren was. So we're very deep at the receiver core. But you know what? We might even have more depth at the running back position. Of course, Jerry Brown, a great football player in all phases of the game, running, catch, and protection. But then we got Jordan Nobles, who will be a sophomore this year and has had a great camp. We got Chris Watkins, same thing. He's had a great camp. And then we got Isaiah Richmond, transfer that's come in. So, we really got 4 backs right there, and any of them can start.
Absolutely.
So, offensively, we feel like we're very explosive, not only in the passing game, the run game as well. And then, of course, with Antonio Pipkin coming back and being a third-year starter, that makes all the difference in the world. He's got game reps. He's got experience. He's got the entire offense at his fingertips right now. So, one of his idols and heroes is Peyton Manning. So we kind of joke all the time with him, hey, Peyton Manning is one of the best offensive coordinators in the game of football.
Absolutely.
So, we're wanting to see that out of Pipkin this year and see him. He might get us in and out of, some bad play calls and get us into some great play calls. So, offensively, I think we're very powerful. But, Walsh, their defense, last year they had 3 corners that were outstanding. Those 3 corners or DBs are gone. We do know they got a few transfers in. Then when we watch their film, and they're really good football players too. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup right there with their secondary and our receivers. Inside, they got Skylar Parks that anchors that defensive line, and he is one of the best defensive linemen in the conference. So we expect him to have a great game, obviously, and we're going to have to do some things to maybe help protect, with him up front. So it'll be a big challenge for our offensive line, but you know what? We got to get used to that because it's like that every single week in the GLIAC. There's always going to be a great defensive lineman somewhere. They lost a few of their linebackers, but they've got the King kid back. He's going to be their middle linebacker. Runs around. He's a strong, fast kid. So I don't really expect their defense to really take any steps backwards from a year ago.
And how about our offensive line? You're in your tenure here at Tiffin University, it's probably the offensive line where you've had the most experience and maybe the most depth since you've been here.
Yeah, I mean, really excited about the offensive line. I said this yesterday. Somebody was asking me, the moment Coach Marokian stepped foot on campus, our offensive line got better. We also have depth at that position now. We are too deep at every single position on that offensive line. You got Max Baum, who seems like he's been here forever now. Yeah. You got Mason Butler, who is, preseason honorable mention All-American, who's going to be a great player. He's only a sophomore. Then you got Matt Nobles, you got Logan Snyder, you got Azell Mitchell, you got David Castrina, a lot of guys who played a lot of football around here. So, we start talking about the offensive line. It's something we get excited about. We start smiling about. Is where just a few years ago,
I was going to say it seems a little different.
I would talk to you before the show and say, "Don't bring up the offensive line, okay?" But no,
true, folks.
Those guys have had a great camp. I'm very excited to watch those guys play in the trenches because I think that might be one of the areas offensively where you see the biggest area that's improved.
That's where it all starts. You get that improvement in offensive line. Who knows? The sky's the limit then for your skill players.
Sure.
All right, let's talk about our defense. You talked about their quarterback coming back. Also, they got a running back. His last name's Mail. Coming back this year, and he was a pretty productive guy too.
Yeah, Aaron Mail's a good football player. I mean, we recruited the young man as well. I think he is very similar to Jerry Brown. He was a great high school football player. He's a great college football player. I mean, in their pass protections, he's sound. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a tough-nosed runner. He's going to touch the ball about 20 times a game. Their backfield on the offensive side is going to be very dangerous because they got a mobile quarterback and with Aaron Mail. And then, their receiver core, too, is going to be very similar to ours, I believe. They got some Division I transfers. They lost 2 good players a year ago, but I think they just plugged in some more transfers in those 2 spots, and they'll probably pick up right where they left off in that area as well. So, for our defense, it's going to be about stopping the run.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's something every single coach in the GLIAC preaches because if you don't stop the run in this conference, you're not going to win very many football games.
No.
So, our defense line's got to do a great job, and they are just like our offensive line, to be honest. I think that is probably the most improved area on our defense. We went out and we've got some guys that transferred in with some playing experience. I think you're going to see, Willie Mays is very explosive. He's going to, jump off the field and grab people's attention. Victor Cave, same thing, very explosive. And then, we got Vinny Jones, who is bigger and stronger. We redshirted him as a sophomore last year, so he's kind of that redshirt sophomore. He really could be a junior for us right now.
Yeah.
He's going to be a great player for us. And then we also redshirted 3 other defensive linemen last year. So we got depth at that position. We're going to play a lot of defensive linemen, keep them fresh. Excited about that unit. So that'll be a good matchup because their offensive line we think is very good. So it'll be a good matchup right there in the trenches on really both sides of the ball.
And then your linebacking core, well, you notice in practice, they look fast. I mean, they really run the ball down.
Shh. You're not supposed to say that. No. We are.
They're real slow.
We're very explosive at the linebacker position. Morgan Lloyd had a great season for us last year. Bigger, faster, stronger. He stayed all summer with our strength coach, obviously. So he is a very sound football player, and I think that's what you got to have your linebacker be is a very sound football player. Then when he sees a run that he fits and is very aggressive. So excited about Morgan, and then Justin Hernstein, yet another young man who seems like he's been here for 8 years.
We got 2 Hernsteins on campus.
We do. We got the younger brothers as well. But, Justin has had a great camp, and measuring at 6'5", 225, that's just a big guy who eats up a lot of ground. So excited about our linebacking core, and I really think that our D-line has made that position better.
Yeah.
They're able to make more plays because it's hard for the offensive lineman to get up to that second level on them. And then on the back end, you got our DBs, who we feel like has had a great camp.
Yeah.
So, it's about matchups at every single position. I mean, both sides of the ball is going to be very interesting on both teams because, how's our secondary going to play with their big receivers? How's their secondary going to play with ours? And so forth all the way down. But it's no secret the game starts in the trenches. Game's won and lost right there in the trenches. So that's going to be where I'm focusing on.
Yeah, well, you alluded to the chess match. It is the coaching part of a college football game. And the third part of the game that we have not touched on is the special teams aspect. Tomislav Drezic coming back. BK, the big kicker. How has he been doing in practice?
Tomislav's doing great. Tomislav's lost probably about 25 pounds. We'll be modest here. About 25 pounds. But, he's still got the powerful leg and kick the ball out of the end zone. He's worked hard on his accuracy over the summer and through camp. So I'm excited to see Tomislav play as well. We've also got, competition makes everybody better, right? So, we've got a transfer kicker that's come in as well. So, that position, like all the others, has got great competition. But, Tomislav coming in being a senior this year, he's kind of been through it and knows what to expect.
Seems like he's kind of primed to have a breakout year maybe this year.
We sure
feels like it.
We sure think so.
Probably a lot of extra points.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of extra points, a lot of touchbacks,
Yes.
But, really, we're all very excited. We got to calm ourselves down a little bit. We still don't play for, 28 more hours, something like that now. But I'm excited to see this group of young men get out on the field and play football. We've worked really hard over the last season to not only become better football players, everybody's doing that, but we've worked very hard to build leaders, and build better leaders. And I think we'll see that Thursday night. We
talked about how your players got to control themselves on game day of the night game. How are you and the other coaches control yourselves and your emotion and your excitement as you prepare for that long day till kickoff?
Well, game day is usually not where I'm nervous. I'm pretty laid back on game day, and it's through the course of the week. Those first 3 preparation days leading to game day, where all the coaches I think are wanting to get after it in attack mode and everything. But hey, the work's in. By the time you line up to kick the ball for game day, the hard work's in. Then it's about truly the chess match. What are they doing? How are we going to respond? What's going to be the answer to this and that? So that's fun. That's fun. That's why we put in all the hard work year round to get up to that moment. So, if you can't go out there and enjoy the game, the atmosphere, and all that, then you're in the wrong profession. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think any of the coaches on the staff are very uptight or nervous game day. We're like the players. We'll have the butterflies and all that. We're human as well. But once we get into it, it's fun. We're enjoying the moment, and the hard work's done at that point.
And then the hard work begins again at 7 p.m. And the Dragons host Walsh from Frost Cow Stadium. You can catch all the action on the radio. You can catch us, our terrestrial radio station. We're moving to a different station for our first game, 99.1. Or will be because of 100.9's commitments with the Cleveland Browns. But you can always catch everything right here at tudragonradio.com, as well as you catch the live video stream at tudragonradio.com. Coach,
do we need to call the Browns? Can we get that fixed?
I would think it would go the other way, but I guess maybe they got a little bit more financial backing than the Cleveland Browns do. But, hey, it is what it is, but we're there, and it's going to be an exciting happening. 7 p.m., Dragons and the Cavaliers from Frost Cow Stadium. Coach, go get them. Looking forward to it, and we'll do this every week.
Thanks, Russ. Go Dragons.
Go Dragons. This has been the Gary Goff Show here on WTUD, tudragonradio.com.